Hi everyone, this is Penny from Witch Astrology. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and thank you to all of my patrons and supporters. Today we are talking about Moon in Virgo. The moon rules the emotions, but it's also who we are at our core, and it reveals some information about childhood traumas and our soul purpose in life. It helps lead us up to the bigger picture, what makes us feel fulfilled, what parts of us will be sustaining, lasting, and surviving, even through some of life's most difficult times. So if you want to know more about the emotional processes of Moon and Virgo, I have a separate video for that. I've done every single moon sign already, but this is either my fourth or my fifth moon sign project, because moon signs are so important. It's such a big part of who we are and what we need. So today we are talking about Moon in Virgo. And if you don't know what your moon sign is, you can check the links below, and I have a natal chart calculator that I linked to. So, Moon in Virgo. I'm gonna dive right in, okay? Something about your childhood made things feel scarce. Either the amount of attention was scarce, the amount of love might have felt scarce at times, the food, the toys. There was some need to compete, especially with siblings and maybe with some other people in your family. You had a certain need to compete, to prove yourself. And that turned you into someone who is very ambitious, who is very resilient, and who is very hardworking. You might come across as cold at times because of this. You might come across as a little bit of a hard ass, but there's a reason for it. And it's not that you're not caring, and it's not that you're not willing to go the extra mile for people, but you've always been someone who felt the need to prove yourself, who wanted to prove yourself, who wanted to show everything you could do, who wanted to show how hard working you were and that you deserved everything that you had. So I have some notes here. I'm gonna post them I think on Facebook. I don't know if I'll do like a whole album for it, but check my Facebook albums because I have all sorts of stuff there. So even though Moon and Virgo people have big goals, this becomes something that's kind of deeply rooted in their psyche and their self-worth. For some of them, and probably all of them, at least for like a little while, it becomes a big problem because they will either get so intense, being constantly worried about the results and about being good enough, that they might turn kind of psycho. They might become kind of obsessed with success, and that can cause them to lose sight of what matters in the moment. It might cause them to lose healthy relationships, and even more importantly, it can cause Moon and Virgo people to lose the healthy relationship that they previously had with themselves. So on the other end of that, becoming success obsessed, you might have the opposite reaction at some point in your life where you just give up and you basically realize, the exhaustion from putting so much pressure on yourself and the pressure you've let the world put on you as well. So finding the healthy balance there is about learning to live life in the moment, learning to enjoy the little things in life, going through your everyday life and work in a meaningful way, seeing the small things, being in the moment. Because even when we are working towards a goal, it is the smaller things we do every single day that allow us to get to that goal. Sorry, my phone is buzzing. Hopefully you can't hear that. But especially when we think so much about the results and we sit there waiting to see them, and we could become sort of cruel towards ourselves and to others because we're looking at results too much, that can be a problem. And Moon and Virgo people, no matter what kind of traumatic thing you went through in your childhood, you might have seen it immediately as something you wanted to overcome. You wanted to be better than the pain you had experienced. You want to prove that you can overcome it, that you can be better than the pain. And always wanting to show how strong and how resilient you are. And a lot of that desire will tie into your physical body and your physical self-image. You want to appear strong physically as well as proving that you are strong emotionally. And that is something that becomes so important to so many Moon and Virgo people. So the mind and the body connection, it's there with everyone. But for Moon and Virgo people, it is also very symbolic of emotional resilience. And they might feel like if they can't prove their physical strength and their physical fitness, then they can't prove their ability to deal with anything in life. And they might not be able to believe in themselves either. So that doesn't just mean that the big, bulky muscles are important to them. A lot of times it's the agility, the flexibility, being able to see what they can do with their physical body and being able to demonstrate their own physical strength really is a confidence builder for Moon and Virgo people. And they get really insecure about any physical health issues because of that. They might even try to hide them, to bury them, to conceal them, because if they're still in that mindset where they feel like they have to put on a face for people, they have to try to look like they're perfect, which, by the way, no one is perfect. I personally have decided it's not worth my energy to try to convince anybody I'm perfect, and I might have taken the opposite extreme at times, but that's a different story. So another thing, when it came to like this idea of competing with siblings or competing with whoever it was around you, your peers, anyone around you when you were a child. And again, the reason why you competed is you felt like there were limited resources, whether it's a limited supply of love, attention, food, toys, whatever it was. You felt like you had to compete for things. And there are Moon and Virgo people who literally felt like they had to compete for food in their upbringing. All of this, it might have created an inferiority issue as well. A feeling of inferiority and that insecurity, always worried that someone else is trying to show you up. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I'm like, wherever there is an inferiority issue, there also tends to be a superiority issue. And sometimes it happens because our parents try to teach us to be superior, to be better than other people. And then we want to be able to think of ourselves as superior. We want to be able to think of ourselves as superior. But then when we want to do that, there's also a negative tendency to look at ourselves as inferior. So that puts you on kind of like a slippery slope where your self-esteem can go up and down. Yeah, but I've been there. I've been there too myself. I've had similar issues. I get it. And because of this competing, you also got the idea that you have to earn what you get. Moon and Virgo people tend to really believe in hard work. They don't like getting handouts. They don't like giving handouts. They believe in working. And a lot of them have worked themselves to the point of exhaustion. So you might have been through that cycle before. You might have realized, that there's a certain point where you hit burnout and you just can't do it anymore. And you might have also dealt with the frustration of seeing that the people around you don't have, honestly, the same unhealthy mindset about how you need to work yourself to death. And when you're over there trying to work yourself to death and the people around you aren't trying to do that with you, it can get really frustrating. But at some point you also have to take a step back and be like, whoa, I need to stop working my own self to death. And maybe the people around you are being lazy too. Maybe they need to work a little bit more and maybe you need to work a little bit less. And you have things you can learn from each other. No person is ever 100% right. No person is ever 100% wrong. And that's why diversity and astrology is such a beautiful thing, having all these different types of people in the world. It's so valuable and so important. But yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. Your overall life path is about taking those big goals and not just giving up on them, but learning to live life in the moment. learning to live life in the moment, translating your big goals into living life in the moment. And that is your life path. Make sure you are not only following me on Facebook, not only following me on YouTube, make sure you are connected to me via email and via my website so that any changes that happen to social media, you can stay connected with me and you can continue to see horoscopes and get updates on everything, because I don't ever want to disappear. And I know social media has tried to, at times, diminish the presence of certain people, especially spiritual workers in the community. And I think that's sad, and that's something we need to all be aware of. So make sure you are signed up to my email list. I'm probably going to put out a new one soon. I'm going to update that and start trying to transition to making that my primary place where I share content through my own website, through my own email, so that I don't have to be negatively affected by CEOs of other businesses who decide that they don't want tarot and astrology to be on their platform anymore, because it's going to be on my platform, because that is what I do. So have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching. Bye.